Sairam. We'll start with Omkaram and Sai Gayatri. Om. 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 Om Saishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Saishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Saishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shri Sai Ram. I offer my humble salutations at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Swami. I welcome one and all for today's session. Today's episode is Sai Samvedana, where we get to listen to the first-hand experiences of a devotee. And today our guest speaker is Jagadish sir. Being born in a Sai family is itself a blessing. Then having myriad interactions and interviews, and above that, countless dreams, not just vague dreams, but a very vivid dreams, where each and every detail is, quite clear. And he often records his dreams immediately, along with date, along with, the dress Swami wore, the color of his robe, his mannerisms, the place, all those things. So vivid dreams and countless. The dreams are like, maybe hundreds of thousands, which started it during his childhood and they still continue. And above all these, I would say the greatest blessing is how he is anchored to Swami. Normally, at the childhood, once you're born in Sai family, yes, it's so natural to get connected. But as you grow, once you become young and once you start your career, I think many things become alluring, enticing, so that you can easily, drift away from the path. But in fact, he says, as he, became young and as he grew up, uh, and as he climbed the corporate ladder, he didn't drift, but often he became, he would say that he became quite dauntless. And he was even, he's so fearless that he would even voice out some major concerns, even with his superiors. Normally, that kind of attitude, that kind of behavior would often prove to be a detriment in corporate world. But he says that acted as a catalyst for him to rise up to the higher positions. Not only that, he became the most sought after employee, most sought after personality uh, in his a company, in all the companies in which he worked. And he says, Swami is the only point of contact for him. And his caption of life is, may rain or shine, Sai is my only lifeline. So let us know today from him, uh, and let us get more tips from him how to make Sai as our Spock, our single point of contact. Come what may, whatever may be the concern, even till today, he gets acknowledgements, personal approvals in dreams or in other ways. Whether whatever may be the concern, it may be the minutest concern also, or any any kind of decision if he wants to make, if it's an investment decision or a personal decision, or a kind of interior designing decision for a house, even that he consults Swami and he gets immediate acknowledgements also from Swami, and that's how he continues. So let us know many tips from Jagadish sir today, how to be so anchored to Bhagwan and how to make him our single point of contact in life. So I welcome Jagadish sir. So my first question to you is, so you were born in Sai family. So I want to know, how did your family members come into Sai fold? What was the climate that was prevailing at your home when you were born? Was it full of bhajans, or you were born with listening to bhajans only at first? What was the atmosphere, and what was the effect of your atmosphere of your home on you? And I want to listen to more experience of your family members, your mother, father, brother, sisters, and all. Over to Jagdish sir.
I am offering my humble prayers and salutations to our beloved Swami. Whatever I share is whatever he's making me share. You use some very generous words. I don't know whether I deserve all that. I'm nobody to give tips. That's a tall order. I'm just sharing what I've experienced. Swami is our friend, philosopher, guide. I'm sure he will guide all of us. With that preface, I'll try to attempt your question. In fact, I got some tears the way you were saying. I don't know whether I deserve all those beautiful words that you told me. Thank you so much, Suman. And also thanks to all the Sai brothers. My mother and grandmother were uh, devotees, especially my grandmother was for Shirdi Baba, and Thursdays they used to offer what we call in Karnataka as Kesri Bath, or uh, I think it's called, it's made of rava. It's a kind of a sweet. They used to regularly offer on Thursdays. And many years ago, I think in the 60s, my mother, father, sister, and brother-in-law, my brother, all of them went. I'm youngest in the family, and my brother is the eldest, and then I have three sisters before me. So they went to Bharti. They and my mother was first invited by Swami for an interview, and later on, he also granted interviews to all of them. And my sister at that time wanted to go to the US. My brother-in-law and sister, they had just he had just passed out of the Indian Institute of Science, and he was looking for better opportunities. And Swami blessed, and that was the first personal interaction the family had with Swami. Of course, in those days, I think the crowds were much lesser, I'm told, because I don't remember. I was probably a very small boy. Uh, and so they said Swami was so accessible and available, and they had that experience of Swami uh, blessing them and guiding them.
So you remember
After
any
that,
conversation with your mother or somebody particular?
I think my mother uh, she was a very straightforward lady, and she would always tell the truth on the face. And so, so Swami, I understand, conveyed that stay with your truth kind of a thing. Swami always loves truth, right? So
Yeah.
that's what she remembers. It was a long time ago. This was somewhere in the mid 60s or something like that, mid or late 60s. And she has always been like that. And she has always imbibed those kind, or tried to imbibe those kind of values in us, that stay committed to truth. It may be uncomfortable, but at the end of the day, it works. And I think Swami, probably that's why she always was the one first to be picked up by Swami. But later on, my brother continued going to Parthi, and he at one point of time wanted to give up and stay there. And of course, uh, Swami and my parents told him, you have other things to do. But one experience he tells me, which he told me, which I think was very impactful for him. In our house, Krishna is someone who is very dearly worshipped, and all my mother and my sisters, especially Janmashtami, they used to take a lot of effort in dressing up Krishna and doing all kinds of different eatables that is offered traditionally during Janmashtami, some 18 kind of varieties. And so my brother too was very fond. I think that's there in the family. And so when Swami called him for an interview subsequently, without his asking, Swami said, "So you want to see Krishna?" Because he was very uh, studious. He was doing his Gayatri mantra and Sandhya Vandana all those days. And he was taken aback that how Swami knew that. And Swami materialized a Krishna for him and said, keep meditating and worship, and you'll get a vision of Krishna. And truly, for him, I think within a span of a couple of months, he had that beautiful experience of the vision of Krishna, which Swami had told him.
Let's see.
So that has been a very, I mean, he even proudly and fondly recalls that experience. Uh, I think even in Sai Satcharitra, if you read, many times Shirdi Baba has given darshan of the Ishta Devata, whoever they were, like Vitala and so on and so forth. I think Swami too here did that for my brother. That's what I can share at this point of time.
Thank you, sir. So, do you remember your personal interaction, the first interaction, and especially, your interactions with Swami as a young man, right from childhood and youth?
Childhood, I don't remember except some vague memories of going to Parthi, but as a youth, as I was in the in the college, I think that was the pre-university times, somewhere in no, not pre-university, yeah, somewhere around as I was getting into the degree college. I think at that time, Swami's college was functioning here in Whitefield. I had applied and I had got an admission, but I couldn't join. But it was somewhere in the year 1980 when my father was not well. He was hospitalized. That was the only time he was hospitalized, just before he passed away. Uh, I said, let me go to Parthi and pray to Swami. So the others were saying, why do you want to go now? Your dad is in the hospital. But my father said, you go. So that was one of the experiences where I went alone to Parthi, and I was I was just praying for my dad's health, and I was sitting there in the darshan, and Swami came straight to me and stood right in front of me. That's an experience. I would say the first very close experience on a solo basis. He stood right in front, and he was playing with my hair. I had a lot of hair those days, and a lot more than what I have today. And he was playing with my hair, and I was so dumb or numb. I don't know what. I mean, that happens, I think, when you're in front of Swami. I have written a letter to Swami asking for my for his grace and blessings to help my father recover. And I'm holding the letter in my hand, and Swami is standing right in front of me. He's playing with my hair. He's looking at me. I didn't ask him, but I'm just holding the letter. I don't know. I think that was very strange, but he stood there for a while, played with my hair, and he didn't take the letter and he went away. I don't know why I could not ask him that question when he was right in front of me. And later on, my father passed away. I think probably that's why he didn't take the letter. But at the same time, he gave that, that comfort and that touch, and that, I mean, that's what I think he did. Post that, I really was scared of giving letters to Swami. I thought, oh my God, if Swami doesn't take a letter, it's a different interpretation. So I really stopped giving letters to Swami. I used to only pray to him, and he would respond, kind of a thing. And the following year in '81, I think after my father was ill, and we were running around, and my percentages dropped, and I was a very competitive guy. I always wanted to be in the higher or the top marks or whatever. So that year when it dropped, I was very devastated. I knew that there was a context, that I was disturbed. My dad was hospitalized and I lost him. And at a very young age, when you're still in college, it's a crucial time when you need parents. And then at that time, when you lose someone as loving and as guiding as a father, I was so upset. I was crying the whole day, and I was doing a summer internship, kind of a work in some bank there, I think State Bank or something, because that's one way of making money in between terms. And I just couldn't sit there. And then I said, I'll go to Parthi. And I went to Parthi, um, and I was sitting there, and Swami again, he came straight to me. I didn't even ask anything. I just was crying. He said, go to the veranda. And he called me for an interview. I think more than anything else, that was one of the most reassuring or a powerful connect with Swami, that you don't have to really speak. I mean, he understands where you're coming from. And even before I could ask him anything, he said, go to the veranda. And he granted me an interview, and gave me some insights about family and advised me. And I also asked him, Swami, should I apply for revaluation? He said, go ahead and apply. You will get it. And then as I was leaving, he held my hands, both the hands, and he said, Swami Mata Nammu. Always trust Swami's words, Swami. I think that was such a reassuring message, and such a reassuring pat kind of a thing that he gave me. And I think I'm trying my best to do that.
Amazing, sir. It's really touching. So going back to your brother's dream, did he describe, what was exactly he experienced in that vision?
He said it was a beautiful vision of Krishna,
Mm.
and it was not a static vision. He could see
Mm.
Krishna. He was playing his fingers. Sometimes we get a vision of a very static image, but this was a live vision, and it was a very unique experience, and it is for him unforgettable. So
And
he
you
could
even once
really,
said Swami even materialized Krishna's idol to him or something.
yeah,
You even
yeah, he did materialize, and that was when he had that intent to see Krishna, and then he said, "Keep praying, you will see Krishna," and that's what happened.
wow. And during school days or college days, it's quite natural for us to get attracted to many colorful things around because you're growing up young man, you're trying to discover many things. What made you, glued to Swami even at that time? Normally, it's natural for everyone to drift away that time. Uh, and nowadays, it's quite impactful, if at all, I'd say. But at that age, normally, it's very quite natural. So, what was your mindset that time? How you could anchor to Swami that time?
I think most of us in middle class families, we are blessed with parents who are, I would say, I don't know, spiritual or religious, whatever is the right word. So we do observe festivals and we do pray. We go to places of worship. We go to, like my father used to take us to one Nana Swami in Tamil Nadu was very famous, I believe, those days. So, I mean, our family used to go there, is what I heard. And he used to go to Sringeri and he has done Patha Puja to the Swamiji. So I think there was that, that
Atmosphere at home.
atmosphere at home. And so, as an young boy, I had seen sometimes how people fall into bad habits, and I was very scared of that. I was studying I mean, my father put me in very good school. So, and you had all the temptations. And every day in the school prayer, I used to pray for my family and I used to pray. And my prayer those days was protect me from bad habits.
Mm.
Because I'd seen some people, especially when elders and how their families had got impacted. So I somehow was very, very uh, scared of getting into that kind of temptations. And I think maybe that prayer all through uh, has stayed with me. And later on, I think Swami pulled me in because even as I was in, especially after my father passed away, my aunt wrote a very touching letter. She said in Telugu, uh, we speak Telugu at home, and she wrote, Daivam Miku Dikku. The sense, God is your direction, God is your everything. Because especially losing a father, and it has so much impact on you and your lifestyle and all that. I think, and when Swami gave me that kind of, that beautiful assurance, apply for revaluation, and all that worked out, and I think that kind of intensified. And strangely, around that time, uh, there was a samiti here in South End Circle. I think that was one of the first samitis, I believe, in South Bangalore. Dr. Padmanabhan used to come there. Mula
Yeah.
Padmanabhan, all of them used to come there. I was also going there, and that gentleman, Mr. Nanjunappa, for some strange reason, he was not able to, I mean, he was not comfortable, I would say. It's not that he was not able to, he was not comfortable speaking in public or anything. So he picked me up, although he was the president or the convener. He said, "You're the secretary," and for every function, he would make me do the speaking, like welcoming the guest or thanking. So I think Swami pulled me. He made me secretary. Such an engage when I hardly knew what I was doing, to be honest. And we had Professor Kulkarni coming from Swami's college in Whitefield, and I didn't even know Kannada very well in the sense to. I've always studied in English, and I went for higher English and all that, Sanskrit. So he used to write. I mean, he used to uh, tell me what I need to speak in Kannada, and I would write down that in English, and then I would use that as a prompter to speak. That is how I was supported by this Professor Kulkarni of Swami's college, and they all were so nice to me. And we used to go to Whitefield to go and invite Brindavan or Parthi to go and invite Swami. The first invitation is always given to Swami. So we used to go and hold there, and Swami used to come and take our invitation, and Chala Santosham used to bless us. And so I think in a way, one was somewhere this fear of uh, bad habits, and secondly, our context where God alone is the anchor and support, and how Swami came into that so beautifully. And he also pulled me into this Sai family beautifully. So I would say that's where the anchoring happened.
Amazing, sir. So coming to your experiences at workplace, so I think things get much more challenging as well as alluring, where you have some situations probably you need to compromise with your values, but still you say that proudly you said that once to me that you have never compromised on your values, and you kind of became quite fearless in your entire journey of your career. And you even said that Swami was quite no you, it was quite clear that he guided you at every step. He acknowledged certain things, he denied certain things, and you had even personal interactions and as well as interactions through dreams. So, related to your workplace, professional career, uh, and how you used to even convey everything to Swami, just like you used to convey your father, just like you used to write letters to Swami so regularly, as if this happened, this is so happened, this all that so casually you used to write and all that. So all those experiences we would like to listen, especially your professional side, and how because I know it will be very tough to implement values in environments of corporate world. So how challenging it was, and what gave you that courage, and what were your experiences as you went through?
I think whatever I am or whatever career breaks I got, it's all Swami's blessing. So when he takes you to your job, he will take care of it. So that has been my experience. I remember somewhere in 94, Swami came in my October 94. He came in my dream and he gave me Pada Namaskaram. And the next day I got a call because I was doing an assignment in Pondicherry. My father-in-law called and said, because we had given that address, so in Bangalore, and he called and said, you got an appointment letter from a company and you can come back to Bangalore. So I said, I was very happy. I came and I opened the letter. the emoluments they were offering were much lesser than what I was getting. I was in a very good company in Delhi. I'd taken a break and I was doing this assignment here in Pondicherry. But then I said, Swami has come in my dream and given Pada Namaskaram on the day the appointment letter came, because that was the previous day that I'd come, and that is the day, next day, my father-in-law called. I said, I'm not going to think about anything. I just quit this assignment and this company in Delhi, came back to Bangalore, took a cut. So I joined this company. It was very political.
mm,
I'll give you a small example. We were hiring graduate engineer trainees, and there
yeah,
was a lot of calls coming. Always happens in corporates. And the police commissioner had recommended a candidate, so he called me and said, "So and so is coming. He's from our side." I said, "Thank you, sir." And I also
mm,
told him we have a process. There is a panel. There is we have a technical test, and after that we have a GD, and then we have a personal interview. I may not be in all these panels, but rest assured, I will make sure, since he has been referred by you, he'll go through the process. That boy went through the process and he was not selected by the panel. I didn't tell the panel that he's from police commissioner, because then I would be influencing.
mm,
And the panel rejected him. And then we made the offer letters and sent also. This fellow was not there. And then the police commissioner, since he had called me, I called him back and said, "Sir, I'm sorry to say this boy was not found suitable and we will not be considering him for employment." And he was a very nice gentleman. I said, "Thank you very much. Thank you for making us go through the process, giving him an opportunity. Thank you." Then there was a review meeting with the CEO, and he said, "Okay, what did you guys do and how many did you take and all that?" I said, "We did." There was I think he was also called, the police commissioner's office had called him. So he asked, there was a reference from police commissioner.
mm,
There were some others with me who were in the panel. They didn't know this. They were also
mhm.
surprised. I told him, "Sir, we rejected him." "What? You rejected a police commissioner's reference?" I said, "Yes, sir." "No, no. How I've always said we should follow the process. That's what we have done." He was flabbergasted. So, and it was very political, that place, because they would do all this kind of thing. So I was just telling Swami, "Where have you brought me?" And he came in my dream. You will not believe. He said, "Jagdish, you and I didn't know this place is so bad." So hilarious. Can you believe Swami? I said, "Oh, Swami, you're really joking. You mean Swami doesn't know something?" And true to that, in the next, I was not there in that company. I got 3 offers from that place to move out. That's Swami. When you trust Swami and go, I quit a job which was paying much more money. Then Swami came in that morning and gave me Pada Namaskaram. I took it as his approval and just resigned, took a cut. But look at the way he is with you. He
Mm.
says, "I also didn't know it was so bad." And then he makes sure I got 3 offers. So that's
Mm.
Swami. So when you have such experiences of Swami, how can you not be what should I say, but courageous? So Swami says, "Na bayam enduku?" So why fear when I'm here? And I have had such experiences many times. And on the contrary, I think CEOs tend to respect, because there are very few people who tell the truth in the top. There are a lot of yes men, and so you actually stand out. It has helped me a lot. Swami's blessings and Swami's ways of doing it.
I mean, what gave you that courage that you were, because it's so easy to get influenced by others, because rest everyone is like that. So you have to be different.
I think it was just that Swami always he has never let me down. There was never a situation that if I wanted a job, I didn't get it. So I never had that,
Mm.
what shall I say, doubt. Even every job I selected, I used to consult him. I remember I got an offer from two companies, and then I was there in Brindavan, and that day after darshan, I was just standing there. Normally, I used to stand for some time, and Dr. Padmanabhan would come from inside, and we would chatter. So I was standing near the Kalyan Mandap, and Swami came suddenly, and he was having somebody was with him having some bananas. He picked up one bunch and threw at me, and he spoke to me. He said, Naina, Babu, Baundava. So beautifully he speaks. And then I said, Swami, I've got a job. I think I had got a job then at two companies. One was from this Miney, and the other one was JK Tires. And I said, Swami, I'm joining JK Tires. And I was just telling him. Swami said, Niku, ఇంకొకటి వస్తుంది అది బాగుంటుంది. He said, and he went away. So he said, you'll get one more. And that'll also be nice. I think that was my understanding. And true to it, when I was in the office the next day, the UB group had called, and they had they my mother was at home, and because those days we were always giving the residence numbers. So she picked up the call, and they said, you can ask Mr. Jagadish to come and collect the letter, or if he wants, we'll courier it. But if he comes here, we can explain and tell him more about their culture, their compensation, blah blah blah. So very next day, I got this offer, and then we were debating at home. So the thinking was, my mother and my father-in-law, okay, if you join UB group, you're gonna whatever you do, you're gonna make people drink. Do you want to do that? So we said, why get into that? So I will join JK, and that's what I did. Well, after I joined, um, about 6 or 7 months later, I think almost a year back, a year later, and I heard, you see, normally when you select people at certain levels, they have uh, candidate A, candidate B, and candidate C because they don't want to start the recruitment process all over again, right? So if the first guy doesn't join, they give the offer to the next guy. So since I didn't join UB, they gave it to another guy, and that guy joined, and that was a managerial position, and he was promoted in a year's time, and he became a senior manager and all that. And I heard about it because one of my other friends also joined UB and said you should have joined. He got a big jump and all that. And then you are now working in a company which headquarters is in Delhi. Again, they'll call you for Delhi. So I was a little disturbed. So I just prayed to Swami and said, maybe I'm sorry if I did a wrong interpretation of your dream. You said Inkotostindi Inka bound in the Adi bound in the I don't know what
I
I
mean,
did
it was not
my
in
own.
dream, right? It was in personal interaction.
Yeah, that's right. When he said Adi bound in the or Inko bound, Inkotostindi Adi Inka bound in the Adi bound. So this was the confusion I had, and I said
Mhm.
I was praying to Swami, and I was saying I don't know. Who am I to judge? Maybe my interpretation is wrong. Then Swami came in my dream that time, and he told me, "You'll get much more than that. Relax." And within a month's time, because they had offered, JK also asked me to come to Delhi, and I couldn't go because we were already in Delhi. We didn't like the culture. So then our GM had come and he was waiting in my cabin, and I came in and I was surprised, and he said, "MD was here and we have taken over Vikrant Tires in Mysore, and boss was asking whether you can move to Mysore since you couldn't come to Chennai. I mean, you couldn't come to Delhi."
Delhi.
I said, "Okay, let me talk to my family," and my family was also fine going to Mysore, and that's how we said yes. And immediately I was called to Delhi, and they made me straight away a general manager. So, like what Swami said, you will get much more than that. In the sense, that guy became a senior manager, I became a general manager in a matter of a year. So,
Oh,
why I'm telling you this is when you trust Swami, I mean, that's my experience. He he helps you in the selection of the job. He helps you in the growth. So why shouldn't you be bold? After all, he's doing everything for you. What is that? What is that I'm doing? So naturally, when you have that kind of a backing, when Swami is so much with us, like Swami says, na, uh, that famous that he is saying that as close as you are to God, God is close to you, kind of a thing. So it's like that. I think for me, maybe my context that I didn't have my father and I had nobody to talk to. So for everything, it is Swami.
amazing. So did you face any major challenging situation where he guided you personally? I mean, through dream or personal interaction? Any example you can remember?
Yeah, I have two examples. Like, and when and then that is my practice. Whenever I buy a car, whenever a company gives me a car, or when I'm changing a job, I always go to Swami, and that's the first thing I do before I report. So before I went to Mysore, when this happened, I went to Parthi, and I was just sitting, and we hold our hands like this. Swami came and put his hand like that, and he said, "Paira." So when I went to Mysore, even the house we got, that's when Swami says Paira, he takes care of it. Even the house we got was her, that Sai devotee. She was, her father was the airport manager in Puttaparthi. I mean, Swami had appointed him as the airport manager in Puttaparthi. He was, I think, retired civil aviation official, and so that lady was quitting because their husband got a transfer or something, and she was moving, and we moved to that. Just look at that. Swami takes care of everything, even including the company accommodation. He arranged in a place where he's, you know. And when my mother fell sick there, and when we went to a doctor, because my cousin is in CFTRA, and they used to go to a very good doctor, and I also went there because my mother was having breathlessness. And we went there, and the doctor examined her, and then after a day or two, he called me aside and said, "I think this has got nothing to do with congestion or breathing. It's got something to do with the heart. You better take care." I was extremely, what shall I say? It was a challenging situation, you know,
Mm, mm,
and so my mother means a lot to me since my wife is no more, and she was literally helping my daughter, bringing her up and all that. So, given that context, she's very critical for me. And so I was thinking, Swami, you said Paira, how can this happen? What is this? And he came in my dream, and in the dream, my mother was there and I was there, and he walked. right up to my mother. And as I was looking, he touched her chest and heart like this. He rubbed her 2, 3 times and he went away. We wanted to take a second opinion. We came to Bangalore and got the test done. And in the Bangalore, the doctor said, this is not a heart problem as your doctor in Mysore has opined. We don't agree with it. We
Oh,
were totally taken aback. Then my father-in-law's brother-in-law is an internal medicine cardiologist in the US. He had come. So we referred to him. He looked at the report and he said, I don't know. You know, at her age, if I can have a heart like this, I'll be very grateful to God. So that's Swami. When Swami blesses you and sends, he takes care of everything, whether it is accommodation or whether it is a challenge uh, at home. And I can tell you one more situation in SKF when I was working in SKF Bearings here in Bangalore. We had to sign a long-term settlement with the union, and that was the CIT union. They're very assertive kind of guys, and they're very thorough. In fact, the union president there is so thorough that even the CFO would feel worried because he would question everything, the balance sheet. You reported that, you reported this. How can you say you're not making money? You are not giving us money. With that union, we were negotiating, and it was a very tough call. And we had just a 6 months window because our CEO had said wrap it up in 6 months. There was a huge demand those days for bearings, so he wanted us to make sure there is no disruption and we wrap it up. So one side we could, in a way, we could get into a very landmark kind of an agreement with these workers. But then the other side, we had to manage internal stakeholders. We had our headquarters in Sweden, and then we had the country directors, and they would keep asking one question or the other, and the whole thing was getting dragged. And I was under tremendous stress. I was just praying to Swami, and Swami came and told me again in a dream that he told me, go ahead and sign. And you will not believe, within a week, the person who was asking and putting all the questions, he was sent to US. Our MD came down here and he said, the CFO also said he's fine with this. I don't know why we are delaying it. And we just signed it. So whether it is a work situation or it's a situation at home, Swami is always there, rain or shine.
so after signing, what were the repercussions after that?
It was a very good agreement. In fact, it was a landmark agreement, and we bought in a concept called exponential incentive, wherein if you cross a certain threshold, you can earn multiples, 1.2 times, 1.5 times, like that. Because we really were stressed out. The market was booming, and we were having a lot of demand. So we wanted to get the best out of the capacity and the workmen. So our target was to get about 220,000 bearings a day. We were about 180,000 before the agreement. The CFO and the country directors had said, if you get 220, I think that will be a very good jump because, it's 40,000 bearings up.
Hmm.
Uh, but this exponential scheme, which was one of the first things we had done here in the Bangalore plant, we don't have that in Pune, we don't have that in Ahmedabad, we don't have that in Haridwar plant. So it was a totally new introduction and it worked wonders. The production went up to 280,000 to 300,000 bearings a day. It
Wow.
was so impactful that the CFO said, without adding additional channel, to add a channel, you need to invest capital investment. Without a capital investment, we have got as much as we would have got adding a new channel. So that was a kind of a landmark agreement we got into. And That's Swami's grace and blessings.
And he personally approved it to go ahead with the
E-
signature.
Exactly.
Amazing. Amazing. And you had no wonderful letters you used to write to Swami, I think from during your office times or your personal. So, would like to tell about your letters
Yeah, although I stopped giving
and you,
personal letters to Swami after that
yeah,
experience with what happened when my dad was not well and he didn't take it. So I consciously said I'm not going to give personal letters, but I would
but you're
write
okay with
official
carrying,
letters.
okay
Yeah,
to courier it.
but I would always write official letters to him in my from my company directly. And because Swami told me when I was joining this company, he said, "You'll do a new type of HR." That's what he had told me in one of the interactions. So I was just wanting to keep him abreast. So I used to write letters to him saying whether I publish an article or whether I'm bringing out something new. So every time I do something, I would just write a letter to Swami. It would be couriered. I
Okay.
think you're showing one such letter here.
Yeah.
So I would just write to him, and maybe it
Generally, what
was
would be the
my
content? What would be the we want to read out a letter or something?
yeah. This letter, what I've written here, he says, "Trust you are receiving my publications because I used to bring out monthly publications. Every month I used to send him." And I also, in this letter that you're showing here, I said, "I'm glad to enclose a copy of my article published in one of the journals, which is an international consulting organization. And the article is on a topic that is dear to you, Swami. It is on values and practices. And I have referred to Satyasai publications in that article." So that's the context why I wanted to bring it to him.
Okay.
And of course, seeking your grace and blessing. And I write a postscript saying, "Swami, I enjoyed your Yugadi discourse. Thanks for the opportunity." As if like I'm writing to your dad or something.
Mm.
So every Yugadi we used to go to Swami, that was a must for us. We would go and Swami would be in Brindavan and he would give a beautiful discourse and prasadam. That was a must for us every Yugadi. And so here I'm referring to one of those I've attended, and thank you for the opportunity.
So you're even
I would not
appreciating
wait.
him, no? A kind of.
Yeah,
I enjoyed your discourse. It's quite interesting.
as if I'm. I think that's a beautiful relationship.
There's one more letter. I think you tell something
Yeah,
about it.
this was when I brought out the first publication, and I said, "Swami, I'm sending you the first copy." And he has said, "You're going to do a new type. So is this what you want me to do?" So I would ask this kind of questions and keep writing to him.
Amazing, amazing. So you have got no plethora of dreams actually. So you even were quite hesitant to even give number. No, it's quite innumerable. So could you tell more about your dreams, especially anything, few dreams which really were enchanting or something have quite impactful to you? You say even now you get almost like as recently as last week or no, last Sunday you were telling you had a dream. That kind of
Yeah,
frequency.
Swami is
Mm.
always there, and yeah,
Almost
I can.
monthly, once or twice you get. Is it something like that?
I don't want to
Frequency?
put a I don't want to put a number. It's his wish and will, and he comes whenever he wants. I'm so grateful that he considers me worthy, and I'm so very grateful to Swami. So I don't want to put any number here, but I can say that he always comes and guides. Recently, I think as recent as February, I was wanting to sell off one of my property, and because I had to fund something which Swami wanted me to buy. So I had I was in a dilemma, sell this or that or something, it was a confusion. But anyway, I felt, why should I decide? Let Swami decide. And so I just prayed to him, and I think April uh, 10th or so this year, I was in an
Okay.
assignment with a client company, and we were asked to go to a place in near Baroda. It's a place called Anand, where the NDDB headquarters is.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a beautiful resort where they had put us up. It's called Madhuban Resort, and I was staying there. I mean, look at this. I went to check in. With me, there were three other consultants. So four of us, one consultant had come from Delhi. So she already had checked in and she had taken a room. And we three came from the Ahmedabad airport. We drove, and we three were checking in together. And when I'm checking in, I was given a room, the number of which was the number of my apartment. I was zapped because, we have four of us. One is already checked in, and the three of us are checking together. But for me, my apartment number is the same number that the room has been allotted. This is one of the properties I wanted to put on sale. I was very, I was just curious. What's this? Then I checked into that room and then Swami came in a dream. I think that was, I will tell you. I think that was on the Tamil New Year's Day, the Yugadi. After the Yugadi, it was April 13th. Actually, 14th is the Tamil New Year's Day, uh, and April 15th is Vishu this year. So that 14th, when I get up, I think it was a Thursday morning. I was early morning. Swami came in a dream. Just checking it. I've written the date, but not the day. So April 14th. Yeah, 13th night. That is Thursday, and early morning of 14th. I think that was when he came in my dream, and he came and he was in his usual favorite orange robe, and he gave me full darshan, and he blessed me. And there were two others. I don't know who those two others are. It looks like another two set of devotees, and he stood before me, and he was very affectionate. He blessed me, and he gave us something to. I mean, he gave us something to eat and blessed that also. This happened. Okay, this was on the 14th of April. I thought that's a very good sign. In Tamil New Year's Day is also a New Year's Day, and Swami has come on a New Year's Day. That's wonderful, because sometimes if we miss the Yugadi discourse on uh, the Kannada and Telugu Chandramana Yugadi, we used to go to this Tamil New Year's Day, because Swami would be here in Vrindavan. But both these festivals, he would be there and he would give discourse. So I thought, okay, Swami has come. That's wonderful. And this happened in that room 1212. That's why I took a picture of that room.
Okay.
And this happened in April, uh, 18th of May, which is again a Thursday, in a month's time. uh, a party came. Of course, we didn't have to wait for much, about only five different parties, and this is one of the party. They came and they saw this place, and they kind of liked it. It looks like they said very positive vibes we are getting, and that day I stayed back in that apartment. It was a fully furnished apartment. We used to go once in a week or sometimes once in a month, just for a change. We used to go, and otherwise it was locked up. So that night I stayed there, and the next morning, which is 19th of April, Swami came in the dream there as I was in that apartment, and he there in that dream he's coming and sitting right next to me in that apartment floor. I vividly remember that floor. It's got a different, you know, that vitrified tile color, the brown, and he said he came there. He said, and my mother was also there with me that day because I was hesitant to put that property on sale because my mother had come and seen. So I was thinking maybe I should retain. I was a little nostalgic, but in this case, my mother was also there, and Swami also came, and and Swami sat right next to me and kind of blessed. These people, that was 18th was Thursday, 19th early morning, I got this dream, which is Friday. 20th, they came and gave an advance.
Wow.
1st of June, the property was registered and sold. And that's why I've taken a picture of this apartment 1212. So look at this. I think he cleared the confusion in a beautiful way that sell the apartment. And
Mm.
then when the party came and saw that morning, he came and again blessed me and very clear. I was thinking of my mother. She was a little. She had seen that place. So should I sell that? Should I hold on? So she also was there with Swami. So it was a very clear indication from Swami that imagine getting a room somewhere in Madhuban Resort in Baroda, near Baroda, at 1212. And then he comes again when I'm sleeping in 1212. And the whole deal is over. And the first, the property is registered.
Mm.
That's Swami for you.
Amazing. And you had faced even some challenging situation recently also, no? During COVID time, how Swami guided you. You were once sharing with me.
Yeah,
So,
I think
would you like to share with listeners?
I think Amarnath also knows about it. We got into a kind of a jam with one other property where we had a terrible fellow who moved in and he would neither move out nor allow us to sell. We were stuck with an advance that he had given. So I was totally clueless. I didn't know what to do. Because when I quit the job in when I was in Danfoss in Chennai, I quit the job and came with a very clear plan that I would sell that property. It was a individual house or what you call whatever it's a plot and a individual house, a 40-60 kind of dimension. And then my plan was to sell that, and I had booked one more which Swami had indicated to me, and I said, okay, I have this money, will go there and close up the whole thing, and we'll have some extra money, and I mean retirement, and then I don't have to work every day. I work only select days as a consultant. So that was the plan, and the whole thing went for a pause because we had this wonderful guy sitting there. And every month, I was also having some loan on that house, so I didn't want to pay loan. That was one of the reasons I wanted to sell it off and get out of it. But me, not a courageous guy. I have a loan. I got a job with faith in Swami. I come, and this transaction doesn't happen. I told Swami, I don't know. I'm not going to pay the EMI. You take it. And I told this to him sometime in February 2020 when this was getting dragged. March EMI I'm supposed to pay on April 10th, and suddenly this COVID broke, and the Reserve Bank of India announced a moratorium on all loans. So and that moratorium got extended for another 3 months, and that is getting over on 10th September. I'm supposed to pay. So I was telling Swami, okay, 10th September is coming. We are in August. 28th
mm,
August 2020, we get three buyers came, and I was not sure. I said, Swami, I've already messed up. You make the choice. So automatically, one fellow dropped out in the afternoon. Another fellow who was very keen, he said, I want to do it only during the Godoli to end. So we gave him the time. And he also said, sir, there's something that has come up. Can I come in the night? I said, no, we have given the time to somebody else tomorrow. So that's how he eliminated two. And he made sure we sign a deal with a guy which works with us. And we signed the deal with him. Now look at this. That guy was getting some money from his dad's property. That got delayed. This guy was supposed to vacate, was not vacating still because he said his daughter is, when she just has delivered a baby or expecting. I believe there's some time after that here, local tradition, they don't vacate. So I, but on the one hand, the buyer is saying, sir, can you give me some more time? And this guy is also saying, give me some more time. And finally, this guy vacated the property in May 21 and no June 21, and he just vacated. We got the keys on 15th of June, and the buyer comes back around 20th of June and says, "Sir, the my money has come. The deal is done. Can we have the registration on the 9th of July?" Just look at the way
mm,
the Swami engineered. So the tenant or whoever is that fellow was very happy that we gave him extra time. And this buyer, he says, sir, but for you, I wouldn't have bought this house. But I was just in between. Actually, I should have been more tense because if this fellow had pressurized and said, I want the vacant possession, I was not able to give. So
mm.
that's Swami, the way he engineered, he made sure I don't pay the EMI. He just, I think Swami manages so beautifully. I'm extremely grateful to Swami for everything he's
Amazing.
done and doing and will continue to do.
Beautiful. So having born in Sai family and having seen many ups and downs personally and professionally, and having come to this level, so what message you would like to give to today's youth, basically, how to accept life or how to look at life?
I think life has its own challenges, and who doesn't have problems? Everybody has problems and challenges. I think whatever it is, we are so blessed to be in the Satya Sai fold. We just have to hold on to him. Uh, like they say, sometimes there could be delay. Bhagawan ki dunya mein der hai and der nahi. Likewise, there could be some delay, but whatever it is, this COVID came, 6 months came, but still the whole thing, finally he engineered it. Sai engineering, as I call it. So I think
Mhm.
we just have to hold on to Swami. He will never let anyone down. That's my experience.
So what's your sadhana, to hold, because it's easy to get drifted away because world has its maya, right? So what keeps you so anchored, not falling into maya of the world?
The world also gives you enough challenges, and they make sure that you stay rooted and grounded. So whatever it is,
Yeah, bad times
mm,
anyway we remember him. That's good times remembering his stuff.
good
So
time also, because what I mean, I think one thing, like Swami says, I think we all need to be grateful. Uh, every day, whatever we eat, is it's His grace and mercy. Every day that we live, especially after COVID, is a blessing. So It's a gift. I think we should, I personally think that's the way we stay connected because whatever we are, it is His grace and blessing. Good times or bad times, it's all, He's helping us as a soul to evolve.
Amen.
That I think is the truth of the matter. And we need to be grateful because everything is a blessing. Every day
So
is a blessing.
any particular experience which you particularly want to share? Anything that enthralled you? It's maybe
No,
recent
I
or an
think,
old one.
I feel it's just faith and just have faith in Swami. Yeah, we get doubts. We are sometimes impatient. We have our agitations. But I think at the end of the day, I remember I attended a program at very young in life. It's called the transaction analysis, where you say, "I'm okay, you're okay, you're not okay, I am okay," and there I can never forget this. So that gentleman who was a preceptor, I think he was Father Fernando, I can't forget his name. He told us that not all of us are blessed to have friends or relatives with whom you can completely open up and trust. If some of us are blessed, we are lucky and we should really treasure that. Some of us maybe are blessed with a very nice spouse with whom we can share and open up. Some of us may not have that also. So he said, develop a friendship with God. Well, whoever is your God, Ishtadevata. For me, it's Satyasai. Develop a friendship with God. Have a conversation with Him every day. Good or bad, have a conversation. But one thing, He's always available 24 bar 7. He will never say, I don't have time, come tomorrow. No, no, you didn't tell me half an hour before. You have given me short notice. That question doesn't arise. He always has the time. He will always listen to you. He's open, accessible, available 24 bar 7. Second, he may respond in his own way because he knows what is good for each one of us. He may not,
Mm.
we may think this is good for, but he knows better. But he will respond in his own good time. I think that is what we all need to remember because it's a kind of a friendship with God. The one voice, the one anchor that you can always go back to. And that makes us all strong and capable to face life. That's my experience from what little I know.
Beautiful. Sir. So anything you'd like to tell about your association with Sai Gitanjali, Narayan Seva, Dr. Padmanabh?
No, I think Sai Gitanjali is a beautiful experience. We are all blessed to have such a nice place here. And I think uh, Gita Mohan Rao was saying how that windows in Sai Gitanjali was funded by Swami, and that yes signal says, the yes initial in the window says, I'll always be saying yes in Sai Gitanjali. So we are blessed to be associated with Sai Gitanjali, and Dr. Padmanabhan was such a beautiful, very kind, and a person you could always approach. Beautiful moments with him. I'm so blessed, and we're all blessed. It's a Sai Gitanjali that has connected Suman to me, so I'm grateful.
Thank you. Anything you would like to tell about your experiences during Narayan Seva? I think you were associated with Narayan Seva for some time, and I think every year you even participate in the Navaratri Narayan Seva also. So, what any particular experience that
No,
touched you or something?
it's very blissful, and I mean these are all moments, like Swami said, opportunities for our own redemption. We think we are doing, but it's actually, when we see such people and how grateful we should be for all that we have. And I must say, the Narayan Seva experience in Gitanjali, and this gentleman called Amarnath, he's such an inclusive guy. He would always pull me. So that's how I used to go a lot. That was the pre-COVID days. We were regularly going for distribution and all that. Um, so there are such nice people in Sai Gitanjali who pull you, you get involved. Uh, and of course, you do the Navaratri Narayan Seva. It's again a wonderful experience. So I'm just grateful for whatever little we could do.
Thank you, sir. So I'm done with my questions. Now it is open to the forum. The listeners have any questions? You're open to this. I mean, you can
Lot
pose
of
your
questions.
questions. Thank you, Saira.
Do you mind
I
if I start, Mr. Suman?
yeah, go ahead.
Having known Jagdish so well, I think I have the right to ask him some questions. Can
Yeah,
I?
sure, sure. Sure, sure.
You have already taken the right. Where
No,
is
I mean,
Kenai?
yeah. See, it's amazing, so beautiful, Jagdish. As usual, I've heard a lot of things from you, and every time I get few more new incidences which you keep mentioning, and it keeps us fully charged. And you're obviously one of the few chosen ones by Swami. Now, coming to my question, there are two questions basically. One is about something which Suman did not raise, is about the book, the beautiful book you wrote. You have written a beautiful book on Swami, and I have been pestering you saying that, you have such wonderful experiences, personal rapport with Swami. Why don't you write the second book? Is what I had been pestering you, which you're obviously avoiding. Don't you think it is good that you share your experiences? Yeah, because you have got a beautiful way of, your English is beautiful, your way of expression is beautiful, and the way you pen it is beautiful. Why don't you share with your second book? Is one thing which I would like to ask you, Jagdish. And the second question is something which is, of course, your personal. What is your concept of miracles that keeps happening in various places, and how do you think that really helps in our spiritual sadhana, our spiritual journey? These are two questions I would like to ask you, Jagdish. Can you kindly spare your this one? Tell us something about it. It will help everybody.
The first one is easier, the second one is tougher, but let me try. I think the second book, I'm sure with Swami's grace and blessings, I would certainly like to do that. Thank you so much for your encouragement. Let it stay. I would keep looking forward to such encouragement from you till the book comes out. Hopefully in 2024, I should be able to, if Swami willing, if Swami wants it, I would like to. And this time I thought it should be from a publication which is outside so that it has a wider circulation. These are my thoughts. Yes, I'm very much enthusiastic and eager about it. So if Swami blesses, I'll certainly do that, and hopefully in 2024. So that's the question one. The question two, I think You know, going by my own experience, these beautiful experiences, like I told you how Swami came in 1 2 1 2, and again 1 2 1 2, and I was sleeping. Um, it's a kind of a, in a way, a miracle, I would say. But why would, what are the chances you travel all the way to a place somewhere in Gujarat, and then you stay in a hotel and you get an apartment number which is the same as your, I mean, you get a room number which is the same as your apartment number. And then I'm planning to do something else, and he just flips it around. He makes me sell something which I thought I should not. So I think these kind of miracles, and maybe some people have had even more miracles, like Swami has, my God, Swami's leelas are so many. So in my little experience, I would say, I think each one of us are in various stages of evolution in our spiritual journey. Maybe some of us need more of it, and so we hanker for it and we get it. Some may be more evolved and maybe they don't need it. So I think miracle is a kind of a milestone, a kind of uh, a reassurance, a kind of a uh, incentive for us to stay connected, and a confirmation that Swami is with us. That's how I would look at it. I don't know whether I've answered your question, Amarnath.
Yeah, of course. Lovely. Lovely. I just wanted that from you. Thank you so much. And thank you once again, Jagdish. I love you. See you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Any questions or thoughts? Sridhar sir.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
I'm just enjoying the great evening. I have no questions. And if something occurs to me, I will raise that. Few minutes. Sai Ram.
What did you particularly enjoy in this entire conversation? Anything particular? You just recall.
The aspect he talked about, transactional analysis, was very interesting. If you have somebody to whom you can open up your mind and heart, that's something great, right? What is talked about, some people are blessed uh, with friends to whom they can share, or a spouse to whom they can share. But the greatest friend is God Himself. And to develop a conversation with God on an everyday basis, who is always accessible, is something very strong. I endorse this, and I am a practitioner of this view. Talking to Swami on an everyday basis, good or bad, right or wrong, happiness or all the upswings and downswings of life, to which we become. The thing is, as he said beautifully, that there's a way he kept anchoring himself to the values for which he lived. It's a beautiful concept which he discussed, and I could resonate with that. Is what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sai
Any
Ram,
thoughts?
Jagdish sir.
Yeah, Sai Ram.
Right.
Not sure how much you all blessed to be with Swami's, having his darshan, his sambhashan, how much you are blessed. Same way, we are also, particularly, I am very much blessed to be in a close association with all of you, as you are all had a sparshan, sambhashan with Swami. One question to you, Jagadish sir. When you are discussing with Swami, I mean, when you had a darshan, when Swami is talking to you, he's telling that ఇది కాకపోతే ఇంకొకటి వస్తుంది. When such kind of discussions, I mean, when Swami is talking like that, and then when you are listening to, how was your experience when you have talking to Swami, how you used to, like, how you used to be responding, how you experiencing Swami's presence, the closeness. Can you little explain on that, sir? And in fact, that itself will give me so much of goosebumps. Uh, can you explain me, sir, a little more?
Sai Mahendra, you are such an ardent devotee yourself who has understood the Vahinis of Swami so beautifully.
Experiential and sensitive.
Huh? Um, I would say, Swami is joy personified. I think we call him Prema Swarupa and Ananda Swarupa. I think even in Astotra we say, na, he's Ananda and he's also giver of Ananda. So when my experience when I'm in front of Swami, I don't know, I used to go numb many times. Because he's so pleasant, he's so smiling, and he's so kind in his language. Naina, Bangaru. So it's such a joy. It's just a bliss. I think it's just a moments of bliss that sometimes we would go with something to ask questions and all that, but just become blank in front of them because you are in so much in that moment. You are so much in that experience that you forget everything. I think that has been my experience. I very rarely I've been able to talk to him or ask him something. Many times and most times I've just been just taken aback by what he is, and he's just standing in front of you. It's a joyful experience. Uh, experience that always stays, even when he comes in a dream. It's such a beautiful, blissful experience that stays for quite some time. So, and at that moment when we are with him, I think it's just pure joy and pure bliss. Nothing else comes to the mind. That is, if I can word it, I don't know whether I could word it right, but that's what I can tell to someone as learned as you, Vashyam Garu.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Head to toe, electrifying actually. So, so blessed to be in association with all of you, sir. So
Same
nice.
here, same here, and the kind of you and Suman. I think when we were all in the COVID times, when you ran all the series, it was such a reassurance and reconnect. Uh, the kind of space you guys created, the kind of platform you guys created, that itself was a joy. So grateful to you guys. Thank you. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you, sir.
Saram sir, once you said, in dreams, Swami is quite little more special. In what way?
You know, I would get a dream and I would think, okay, so you go to darshan and you think Swami is going to build on that, he would just go like this. So I think a dream is much more closer because it's just one-on-one with you. You've got no sevadal there, and then you Sai Ram, don't do this, don't touch this, don't. So it's a direct connect with Swami, and he's just there with you. And this is very joyful kind of questions that we can ask and he can answer. So I think I would say dreams are much more intimate, if I may say.
More
With no
personal.
sevadal, more personal and more sevadal, and nobody saying Sai Ram, don't do this, don't do that kind of a thing. So I think, and Swami is also more free, and that's what I feel.
And sometimes you used to share, like you vividly remembered, his mannerisms and styles, all that. So anything you would like to share, some kind of that, some unique,
I don't know why he does that. Maybe that's his way of making sure we remember the dream. Like in this April 13th dream, Swami was standing in front of me with, he has those 3 gold buttons in his, he wears that orange robe, right? So the top one is open and he was having his hand like this, near his neck area. I mean, that's very unique. I've never seen Swami like that. So I think I also feel he does that because, you can never forget it. The way he's much more free, I feel, much more. Uh, I mean, he gives you those beautiful experiences, kind of a thing. I feel that's something very unique. Like once he came wearing a cooling glass, which he never wear. And as I've seen it only in the Western canteen. If you go to the Western canteen, you have it as you go to take your plate. You have a collection, a collage of Swami's pictures, and one of them you've seen, one of the very rare ones where he's wearing
shades. Yeah.
shades, and he came once with that. So I think he gives those kind of that you never forget it. Sometimes we may forget, and normally I think that's Swami's way of, and he's more personal and intimate. I think so. That's what occurs to me.
Thank you. Narasimha sir, anything you would like to share? Anything you resonate with? Or any questions if you have? I think he. Any more questions or thoughts?
Great Sunday evening, sir. Very happy to start the week, actually. It's not the weekend. The week started with a great Samarpan talk. I'm very happy to start the week with this premier Samarpan. the great Swami's devotees. Sai Ram. Thank you, Suman. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I would also like to thank Suman and all of you, because even to recall is a beautiful experience. So thank you for the opportunity so much, Suman.
Thank you. I think Ganesh brother is also on the call, no? So as a youngster, whether you have any questions to ask? Any clarifications? Any more thoughts or questions before closing?
Subbu sir would often talk about an expression called Sai incidence. Uh, Jagadish sir's room number 1212 and his property. It was not merely a coincidence, as coined a Sai incidence, to lead you to a decision was. You had discussed about miracles and impact of miracles. Coincidences and miracles can be perhaps compared and contrasted. It happens so often. Um, it's, you know, because I was just doing Mananam of Jagadish's sharing, a garland of experiences of his Mysore job, Poira, Inkokudi Ostundi. And the most touching one was a dream where the mother's heart is being rubbed by Swami and then the assurance comes later that it was only a false call and she was well. And are these incidences or miracles or a pointer? I think the common denominator to all this is, as he himself explained, you are tuned to Swami. When you are tuned to Swami, it is easy to pick the directions which he gives you. I think all of us do get every now and then. We just don't see it happening because we are so lost in the material world about our points of view and anxiety, attachment, ego, and wanting to get more and less and whatnot. We are lost in our comparisons and judgments. So in this context, all this garland of sharing, one common denominator for me is you turn towards your best friend or your God or whomever you would call it. You get all your answers. And that's the direction to move, to develop equanimity. Sai Ram Jagadish, I enjoyed every bit.
Thank you so much. And I think Swami always said, God is a true friend, everybody else is a passing cloud. So I think absolutely right what you said is that anchoring is the connect. Sai Ram.
Any more thoughts or questions? It's a wonderful evening, sir. So we got to listen to many beautiful experiences. You started with your family members' experiences, vision of Krishna, blessed to your brother, uh, and later your interactions with Swami, Swami playing with your hair, and Swami, even giving assurance that always trust my words, and
Yeah.
you anchored to that statement all through your life, and whatever decision, you always consulted him and you trusted him. That's important. I mean, especially the situation where no COVID time, you're telling you left your job, you had EMI to pay. There was a person who was not vacating, and there was a person who was about to buy. Amidst of all this, and you just trusted him, and it went through so smoothly. And you even brought a beautiful humor of Swami. Most of the times we keep hearing many instances of Swami's humor. Even I don't know that it is so bad. So that is also Swami always, yeah, that kind of humor you keep hearing actually, especially when Sevadal used to be a strict a lady who was quite strict, quite, she was some kind of, she used to shout at people and all. So people used to complain about her. So Swami, so no, I'm even scared of her. No, don't even complain to me. I'm also scared of. So Swami used to make. So I remember this kind of Sai humor. He brings in humor in everything, and especially how he guided you, especially in your challenging times, both professionally and personally, and how you waded through and handled those situations. And ultimately, you said that ultimately that friendship with God and anchoring to Him and making Him your Spock. So that is all matters. Whatever may be the issue, whether it is personal, professional, spiritual, or whatever. So be anchored to Him. I think that's what somewhat may it is a rain or shine. Be anchored to Him. So that is, I think, the greatest takeaway for all of us today. Thank you
And
very much, sir.
Suman, the last word.
Yes, sir.
Jagadish is also a great poet, I guess. Uh, when you asked him what is the message for the youth, how to accept life, the challenges, ups and downs, he mentioned, we are blessed to be in the Sai fold. Simply continue to hold. Sai engineering happens. That is fantastic stuff, Sai Ram.
Sairam, I didn't realize that. Sairam.
Thank you very much, sir. So we'll close today's session with Asatoma.
Thank you, Sairam.
Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om Shanti 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 Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Bolo Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba Ji ki Jai.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Suman.
all.
Thank you, Jagadish. Thank you,
Thank
all
you.
my
Thank
Sai
you.
family. It was wonderful.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir. Thank you.
Sairam. Sairam.
Sai Ram, Sai Ram.